Hypertension or high blood pressure is commonly known as the silent killer. This is due to the fact that there are often no symptoms associated with it. But if left untreated, its effects can be catastrophic. Medications are often what people turn to in hope of avoiding a fatal outcome. But what if the foods you're eating could be causing elevated blood pressure? In this video, we'll unveil the top 8 worst foods for high blood pressure. And you'll also discover why the packaging of your foods and drink could be causing it to rise. We'll also give you healthy alternatives, so you're empowered to make a change for a healthier life. Before you get the inside scoop of these foods to avoid, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Heart Disease Code. We've got amazing new content each week. Also stick around because later in this video we'll show you how to receive 2 free gifts on us. Number 8. Vegetable oils. Vegetable oils were once touted as heart healthy. However, evidence is emerging to suggest that this isn't the case. The issue is that vegetable oils are prone to becoming rancid. During manufacturing, they're exposed to light, oxygen, and heat, which causes them to become oxidized. In particular, it's the polyunsaturated fats, or PUFA for short, that get damaged by oxidation. This causes these fats to no longer function in your body the way that they're meant to. This dysfunction is crucial to understand. Our cells need these fats to work efficiently. A certain type of PUFA, called omega fats, are especially important as they have vital functions. One critical thing they do is help maintain flexible arteries. Having flexible arteries means they can contract and dilate with ease. When they're unable to do this, it can lead to a rise in blood pressure. A study on rats conducted in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, found that when these oils were heated and then ingested, the rats had an increase in their blood pressure compared to the rats that were fed fresh vegetable oils. Another form of vegetable oils called trans fats or hydrogenated fats has also been found to increase blood pressure. These oils are often found in snack bars, cookies, and margarine. Avoiding store-bought versions of these snack foods will help you keep away from some trans fats. And switching to extra virgin olive oil and real butter instead of rancid oils will ensure you're giving your body healthy forms of omega fats. Number 7. Alcohol. Although some people argue that alcohol helps relaxation, the findings on alcohol intake and hypertension are not so favorable. In middle-aged and older adults, binge drinking is associated with an increased risk of heart attacks, stroke, and hypertension, all things we certainly want to avoid. Furthermore, a 2006 review stated that the increase in blood pressure is approximately 1 millimeter of mercury for each 10 grams of alcohol consumed. This is concerning for anyone with even slightly raised blood pressure. But the good news is that this increase was largely reversible in 2 to 4 weeks of abstaining from alcohol. If you're worried about your blood pressure, keeping away from alcohol for a few weeks may lead to a considerable reduction in your readings. However, if you still want to enjoy some alcohol, switch to a glass of red wine a few times a week with a meal and enjoy its cardioprotective capabilities. Next on our list is an ingredient that can be found in many different foods, from sauces to muesli bars, dried fruits to breakfast cereals. The list could go on, and so could the list of ill effects on your health. Have you guessed it yet? Number 6. Refined or added sugars. I know sugars get a bad rap nowadays, and that's not without good cause, as excess sugar consumption is linked with obesity, diabetes, and inflammatory conditions. All of these are a huge risk factor for heart disease. What makes it worse is that sugar is hidden in so many foods. And when it comes to hypertension, sugar has been shown to increase systolic blood pressure, the top number on a blood pressure reading. This is especially true of sugars that are high in fructose, specifically high fructose corn syrup. So how can we avoid it? Firstly, switching our sugar-laden treats such as cookies, ice cream, and cakes is a great place to start. Instead, if you're craving something sweet, opt for a piece of fruit or a few nuts such as almonds or walnuts. Also, check the food labels of breads, crackers, cereals, etc. and see how many grams of sugar they contain per 100 grams. You should aim to avoid anything that has more than 10% sugar content. However, one of the biggest contributors to added sugar is next on our list. Number 5, soft drinks. I know cracking open a can of cool, fizzy sweetness can be just what you feel like on a hot summer's day. But did you know that 1 can of soda contains 9 teaspoons of sugar? That's a whole day's recommended intake of sugar in one foul swoop or gulp, whatever the case may be. As we've just learned, added sugar, and especially sugars that are high in fructose, can have a negative impact on blood pressure. Alarmingly, most soft drinks are sweetened with high fructose corn syrup, so the effect of the sugar may be more pronounced. Not to mention that when drinking soft drinks, there is no fiber or protein in the drink that will slow down the effect of the sugar. A 2016 study done on 5th graders concluded that consumption of soft drinks was related to increased blood pressure, thus suggesting that it doesn't just affect adults. However, the sugar content isn't the only concern with soft drinks. The fact that these drinks are often packaged in plastic bottles or aluminium cans is also worrisome. This is due to the bisphenol A, or BPA, that's normally found in these containers. BPA exposure has already been linked to increased risk of heart disease. A Korean study found that when participants drank from a can or plastic bottle, their blood pressure shot up, as well as their urine levels of BPA. But if they drank the same drink from a glass container, their blood pressure didn't rise. Neither did the levels of BPA in their urine. Rather than drinking soft drinks, opt for fizzy water and add a twist of lemon or even some frozen berries. If possible, avoid drinking from plastic bottles or cans to eliminate exposure to BPA. The risk associated with products that have BPA in them leads us on to the 4th worst food for high blood pressure. But before I get on to that, if you can't get enough of these tips for lowering blood pressure and improving your heart health, then why not download our free ebook, The Surprising Truth About Fat and Cholesterol. And if you'd really like to understand the full picture for fighting and preventing heart disease, check out episode 1 of The Untold Story of Heart Disease. Both gifts are free and waiting for you now. Just click the link below in the description. Number 4. Canned foods. Eating canned foods can certainly feel like it makes your life easier and save hours of slaving away over a hot stove. But what if the time it saves you may be adding up on your health bill? Canned foods not only have the issue of BPA leaching into them, but are extremely high in salt. You're undoubtedly aware that the salt, or sodium chloride, can be dangerous for hypertension. It's estimated that 60% of people with raised blood pressure see further elevation when they increase consumption of sodium. This is called being salt sensitive. Canned foods, specifically soups, has some of the highest levels of sodium of all packaged foods. One single cup serving of chicken noodle soup contains 76% of the recommended daily sodium intake. To avoid raised blood pressure, many people see a huge benefit from reducing intake of table salt. This is why we advise avoiding canned products unless they're low salt and have BPA-free packaging. Next on the list, could your salad be causing elevated blood pressure? Digging into a bowl of salad may seem like a healthier option, right? But could your salad be leading you down the garden path? While the vegetables might be supporting your health, it's what you put on the salad that may be a concoction of blood pressure enemies. Number 3, salad dressing. If you smother your leafy greens with store-bought dressings, you could be serving up a deadly concoction of rancid vegetable oils, sugars, and salts. As we've learned, these ingredients are not your friend if you want to prevent hypertension. So what are your options if you want to add some flavor to your salads? Why not try making your own dressing? With half and half extra virgin olive oil and apple cider vinegar. For an extra kick, add some herbs and crushed garlic for a heart-healthy dressing. Number 2, monosodium glutamate, or MSG for short. MSG is a form of sodium and is responsible for the flavor in many packaged foods. But some people believe there are harmful health side effects associated with it. Studies suggest MSG can cause blood pressure to rise. For example, in China, researchers collected data from 1,227 participants. They assessed their intake of MSG and their blood pressure in 2002 and then 5 years later. They concluded that intake of MSG was associated with higher blood pressure levels, especially in women. In order to avoid MSG, it's important to note that it can also be on food labels as glutamic acid or E620, glutamate or E620, monosodium glutamate or E621, or monopotassium glutamate E622, calcium glutamate E623, monoammonium glutamate E624, magnesium glutamate E625, or natrium glutamate. So be sure to pay attention to your food labels. Many takeaway foods, particularly Chinese, can have high levels of MSG, so stay away from processed and takeaway foods and enjoy some home-cooked meals. Use herbs and spices as flavoring instead. And now for our number one worst food for high blood pressure, cured meats. Right now you may be reminiscing of many an indulgent breakfast of bacon and eggs and chowing down on hot dogs at a baseball game. These foods may hit the spot when it comes to satisfying your taste buds, but when it comes to blood pressure, they could be sending it way off the mark. Not only are these meats high in salt, but often contain MSG. The sodium content of one hot dog contains approximately 20% of the recommended daily intake, and that's without the sauce or the bread included. Aside from these problematic additions to the meat, they also contain a type of salt called sodium nitrate. This is used to cure and preserve cold meats. The issue with this ingredient is highlighted in research conducted by scientists in New York who stated that the preservative nitrate could lead to stiff arteries. Stiff arteries leads to higher blood pressure levels as the blood vessels struggle to contract and dilate efficiently, causing the heart to work harder. These scientists performed a cross-sectional analysis of the third National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey. They concluded there was an interaction between cured meat consumption and hypertension. However, this doesn't mean that meat is off the menu. Instead, opt for nitrate-free bacon that is low in sodium and try making your own sausages. So there you have the top 8 worst foods for high blood pressure. We hope this video helps you make some healthy choices when deciding what to eat. Are there any foods on the list that surprised you? Let us know in the comments below. And make sure to stay tuned to Heart Disease Code to discover more wonderful nutrition and wellness insights. And once again, don't leave without grabbing both of the 2 free gifts. Just click the link below. Thanks for watching and have a heart healthy day.